Want your home to feel warm and inviting with the high-end look of Pottery Barn, but on a Dollar Tree budget and without it looking like Dollar Tree? I've got you. Fall is the start of the holiday season, and it has a way of wrapping us in warmth and nostalgia. It's more than just the colors and pumpkins. It's the memories that make our homes feel so special. Today, I'm showing you how to create beautiful Pottery Barn-inspired fall and Thanksgiving dupes using Dollar Tree finds. These pieces are simple, affordable, and they add the effortless elegance to your home. And the best part, no one will ever guess they came from Dollar Tree. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's dive in. The first DIY is inspired by Pottery Barn. I fell in love with these 12 pumpkins, probably because it's not the traditional fall colors. For my version, I'm using the small stackable pumpkins from Dollar Tree. They were $1.50, but honestly, you could use any pumpkin you already have, even a single one like the Pottery Barn version. The first step is to give them a coat of white spray paint. This takes away the plastic shiny look and makes them feel more like ceramic. Have you noticed how pumpkins come in so many colors and styles now? You don't have to stick with orange anymore. You can actually match your tableware, which makes everything look so much more elegant. Don't you just love this trend? So once the paint dries, it's time for the fun part, decoupaging these napkins onto the pumpkin stack. I just mix glue and water, but you can use Mod Podge if you prefer. And I used these napkins I previously had for another project, so I'll link them in the description box. I've also seen them in pink, green, and even brown, so whatever your decor style, there's an option for you. Since the napkins are 2-ply, you'll want to pull them apart and then cut out sections of the napkins. I did this ahead of time so you didn't have to watch me cutting. And then with the Mod Podge, I start applying the napkins. The inspiration piece has a little more white space, but I like it with a little more design. But this is your project, so you can do whatever you want. So I just keep on decoupaging until I'm happy. One tip here is make sure you lay some wax paper down ahead of time so that your project doesn't stick to anything. And if you want to grab some of these 12 napkins, I'll pop the QR code up so you can add them straight to your Amazon wish list, or feel free to check out the link in the description box. It'll be there too. And just like that, the project is finished. I just love how it turned out, and I think I'm going to have to make a few more for my table. For now, it's going to live in my china cabinet, but it will definitely be making an appearance on my Thanksgiving table. The next DIY comes from the Pottery Barn handcrafted pumpkin candle holder, and when I spotted this metal pumpkin at the Dollar Tree for $5, I knew it would be a quick and easy transformation into the Pottery Barn version. So the first thing is to remove the foam piece and the flowers from the base. It was a struggle at first, but with a utility knife and some tenacity, I was able to get it apart. If you do this project, just be careful and go slow. Once I got the flowers and foam pulled away, I was left with a big mound of glue. So I decided to grab my heat gun, which I have linked in the description box, and look how it just melted away. This was very gratifying to watch, and in hindsight, I should have started with the heat gun. I just didn't know what I was dealing with. So if you try this project, definitely try that first. Now that all the glue and the foam and the flowers are removed, my only dilemma was what color to spray it, black or gold. But the beauty of DIY, you can make it any color you want, and next year change it out. In fact, it would be so cute in a kid's room sprayed the color of whatever their room is, or put in a guest bath or made blue or pink or green. The possibilities here are endless. And if you don't want to DIY this project, I found the same look on Amazon for $35 for 2, which is still way cheaper than the Pottery Barn's price. And I'll be sure to link the product in the description box below, and I'm going to pop up the QR code for you to scan. And here's the Dollar Tree version, all styled with one of their LED battery-operated pillar candles that are still $1.25. So that makes this Pottery Barn dupe only $6.25, and I think it's just as elegant. This next DIY was inspired by the beautiful brass pumpkins Pottery Barn is showing this season. So when I came across the little Acorn trinket dish from the Dollar Tree, I knew I wanted to make it look more high-end like the pumpkins. And with a little spray paint, we're gonna do just that. So out to the backyard with my favorite champagne spray paint after a black base coat, and it was already looking better. And when it all dried, I felt like I overdid the champagne a little bit and wanted a more aged look, so I watered down some black chalk paint, and with some paper towel, I dabbed and smeared it onto the dish until I was happy with the final look. But I couldn't stop there. This dish needed a purpose, so I went to my stash of candles from the Dollar Tree and decided to turn the Acorn dish into a candle. And it's an easy transformation. All you do is take any candle, used or new. I happen to have the cozy ones from the Dollar Tree. Add them to a pot of warm water. I started out on low, but then turned it up to almost medium. It took about an hour and a half, but I wanted it to melt slowly because I didn't want to risk shattering the glass of the candle. I had wicks in my stash, but if you need, you can always use and salvage wicks of unused candle. The wicks I'm using were pretty inexpensive from Amazon, and I'll have the QR code on the screen plus the link in the description box below. Once the wax is completely melted, I remove the metal and the wicks and carefully pour the melted wax into the Acorn. Any spills can easily be picked off later on the vessel, but I always put wax paper or a silicone mat underneath my project to protect the surface. I learned the hard way, so don't do that. Once the wax hardens, it's time to cut the wicks. I have a wick trimmer and just love the way it looks laying next to the candle, but it's so useful too. And I'll leave a link for that also in the description box. And here's the Acorn lit and styled. Isn't it just beautiful? I think I'm gonna have to make some of these for gifts too. I just love the way it turned out. The next DIY comes from a squirrel salt shaker I spotted at Pottery Barn. And when I found these Squirrel ceramic salt and pepper shakers from Dollar Tree, I knew we could easily fix them to look more high-end. But I didn't really want them to be salt and pepper shakers. I thought they would make unique place card holders. But first we had to give them a quick coat of black and then champagne gold spray paint. And if you want to keep it closer to the inspiration, you could always paint them black and then silver. Once they were dry, I grabbed a pack of these ornament hooks I picked up from Hobby Lobby. With the wire cutters, I started to remove the little acrylic beads. They came apart pretty easily. Then with some hot glue, I added it to the hole made for the salt and pepper. And just like that, we have a cute woodsy place card holder, every bit as curated and whimsical as the Pottery Barn version. The next DIY was inspired from a recipe I recently found of my grandmother's. It was for her pumpkin bread. I didn't even realize I had it, so I thought it might be nice to have it displayed. I wasn't sure how I was gonna do it, but I remembered this package of leaves I had picked up from the Dollar Tree and a frame I had got at the Goodwill bins, and I just started playing around with them. And once I decided to use the frame, I knew I needed to change the color from its original 80s orange. I first tried to sand it and apply dark wax, but realized when it wasn't working, I was going to need to paint the frame so that it would be able to hold and absorb the wax. So I just mixed a little of the wax with some antique white and gave it a quick coat of paint. Once the paint was dry, it was time to add the wax. I like to use a stiff paintbrush to mimic wood grain texture, and these little brushes with the metal handles are from Dollar Tree and they work perfectly. I think you get 4 to a pack. And it's just an easy way to transform an old tired frame, and this one probably cost me around 30 cents. And now with just a little time and almost no money, I've been able to salvage a forgotten frame, and it ended up being perfect for this project. Now on to the leaves and the recipe. I start by laying the leaves down in no particular order, just enough to create a soft background. If you can't find the leaves at Dollar Tree, I'll put a link to similar ones from Amazon in the description box. Once I'm happy with the way the leaves look, I place my grandmother's recipe on top. I didn't glue anything down, but you could if you wanted to. I play around with everything until I feel like it's all straight. Then I place the glass on top and secure the frame. And here it is in my kitchen styled. Every time I look over while I'm cooking and see her handwriting, it makes me smile. It warms my heart to have a little piece of her with me in the kitchen. Do you have a holiday recipe passed down from someone special? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what it is. Now for the No DIY DIY. If you're new here, this is where I share a project that doesn't require paint, glue, or really any crafting at all. And this video got me to thinking about the Thanksgiving table. So I wanted to share something I love to do, and that's adding a simple bow around a napkin. It just adds a homespun touch to your table, and the details, like untying that ribbon, create a sense of care and celebration for every guest at your table. What I love most is that nothing has to be elaborate to feel elegant, warm, and cozy. You can even tie a ribbon around an existing napkin ring. It's so easy, and it's a great way to bring in color to match your theme or your dishes. Bows are also on trend right now, and it's just the perfect no DIY DIY. This next DIY inspiration comes from another Pottery Barn find. It's their glass hurricane with pumpkins, and this one was super easy to recreate. I took one of their large hurricane vases from the Dollar Tree and some pumpkins I've had in my stash, also from Dollar Tree, which they still carry, and with some gold washi tape that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, I started to apply the tape to the top and the bottom on the vase. I wanted to add the gold touch like the inspiration. So I used my brayer from my vinyl machine, but you could even use a credit card to smooth out any air bubbles in the washi tape. Once that was done, I filled the vase with pumpkins and even tucked in a few acorns. And just like that, the project is finished. And here it is, styled on my mantle. I love the way it adds a warm pop of fall color with a touch of elegance. And if you want to take it a step further, you could even add fairy lights for a little glow. This next DIY was inspired by a maple syrup bottle I found at Goodwill for 99 cents, but you can also get them online for a little more, and I'll link it below. So now all you need to do was to remove the lettering because it was raised and you could see it if I painted over it. So I first tried some acetone, but that didn't work. And then I took out a small piece of sandpaper and gently started sanding, and that worked like a charm and didn't even scratch the surface. Now it was ready for a quick spray paint. I had picked up this hammered copper paint a while back and thought it would make a perfect leaf color. And wow, this paint came out really smooth and pretty on the glass bottle. I was very impressed. At first I thought about using the bottle as a place card holder, but then I decided it would make a festive reed diffuser. So I picked one up at the Dollar Tree and transferred the oil into the bottle. When priming a reed diffuser, you're supposed to dip one end of the reeds and then flip it over and put the rest into the vessel. I'm not sure everyone knows this. It's an easy way to start the scent. Then I added a couple of sprigs of baby's breath, and to finish off the bottle, I tied a suede ribbon around the neck, and it pulled the whole look together beautifully. And here it is, styled in my guest bathroom. I love how this one turned out. It would make a great hostess gift too. The next DIY inspiration came from the fall stencils Dollar Tree has out this year. And like I said earlier, I am just loving acorns. So I decided to turn this wood round that I found at Goodwill for 99 cents into a trivet. But you could also use the Dollar Tree cutting board if you can't find a round. And the first thing I needed to do was give the piece of wood a quick sanding and a stain. And I love the wax from Folk Art. Sometimes I use the Waverly one too. They act as a stain, but the cleanup is much easier. There's no odor and they dry super fast. So I'll be sure to link it below. Next, I wanted to add some feet to the bottom for extra sturdiness. I chose the largest wooden balls in my stash, and I added 5 of them with the Dollar Tree wood glue. And after everything dried, I took out a few of my fall acrylic paint colors and started stenciling the design. I like to dip into several colors so it looks more shaded and dimensional rather than just one solid color. But really, you can make it your own here. And as I was stenciling, I thought how perfect this would be as a gift. Imagine bringing a covered dish to a fall gathering and adding the recipe along with it. Any hostess would love that. I know I would. For the finishing touch, I stained the feet. If I were giving this away, I would have stained the entire bottom. But since it's staying with me, I just left it as is. And here it is, styled in my kitchen. Honestly, I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying it. It adds such a warm, simple touch to the space. The inspiration for the next DIY comes from Pottery Barn's fall napkins. And since I already have the stencil and a tea towel from Dollar Tree in my stash, it was a no-brainer. I decided to make a bread basket liner. And much like the Trivet, I mixed several colors together, but made sure to really dab off a lot since we were going on fabric. It could bleed if I applied too much paint. I didn't want to cover and overcomplicate the design, so I decided just to stencil an acorn in each corner. Now to heat set the paint so you can wash and reuse the towel, you'll wait for the paint to dry and then use a dry iron on the opposite side and press for a couple of minutes, making sure to keep the iron moving. And here it is, looking pretty in my basket. I love that I have something to use every fall moving forward. The next DIY started with a cute Acorn hand soap dispenser from Dollar Tree. The only problem? It looked a little too shiny and cheap, so I used the same technique as before, layering black paint with champagne bronze to give it an aged brass look. I also added a light black paint wash for extra depth. At one point, I thought about repurposing the container as a vase for fall flowers, but in the end, I loved keeping it as a soap dispenser. Here it is, styled in my guest bath, just a simple little fall touch, but one I think guests really appreciate. And if you like these DIYs, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.